Welcome, all you Drangir and Shield Maidens, to tonight's episode of Dropping the Hammer. I'm your host, Warhammer. And again, tonight we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're live on TikTok. We're trying to hit all the metrics, we're trying to hit all the numbers. I'm still working on Instagram and figuring out how to do the TikTok. I've got to run my phone and my webcam at the same time. But like I've been saying to everybody, we're building this airplane. I'm now changing it to the rocket ship, but we're building this rocket ship as we fly it. So it's one of those learning experiences. There's no training course on how to do some of these things. There's nobody teaching how to do some of these things. It's just pick it up and do it. So it's what I've been doing. And here we are today. um, like I said before, I've been doing this for over a year. Seems to be coming up on, year and a half, almost two, I'd say. I've had to rebuild this platform, this podcast multiple times. This is basically the third edition of Dropping the Hammer. But now we're on my own steam, we're under my own sails. And again, there's nobody tell me what to do, what to say, or anything like that, except for comments from you guys. So that's the most that people have influence on the show. So I'm grateful to have really gotten things on my own feet now. Got my own legs under me, I guess. Not sure what the best analogy would be, but we're here today and we're doing it. So thankful to everybody tuning in. We got somebody on Facebook right now. We had somebody on TikTok a minute ago. I'm thankful to everybody tuning in. So tonight we're going to talk about my weekend and my trip to Uppsala, Gladewater, Texas, for their Viking Yule Festival. And it I like going to Renaissance festivals. I like going to these places like that, medieval times, things like that, because if done right, you can go and get transported to another world. And they're doing some big things here at Uppsala. So we were able to we were all able to walk amongst the gods. There was Odin, there was Freya, there was Loki. Thor was sick, so he had to leave. Even the gods get tummy aches and stuff like that. But Tyr, Soul, more. So many I didn't name, but all the gods were represented. It's very, very fun, very cool. I didn't so much dress up this time. A lot of times I'll just go in my not so much my wrestling gear, but it's my entrance and cosplay gear. It's all associated. So carry my giant hammer, carry my big shield and all that stuff, and I just blend in. But didn't go that route this year. I took my daughter again though, but this year, like I said, we didn't dress up. Last year, she was dressed up as Belle, and we were even in on their TikTok reels and stuff like that. So we were able to, catch ourselves online. So, Melvin, what's up? I'm doing good, brother. Uh, Happy to hear from you. Interesting experience to go one day. Yeah, Timmy, it's it was an experience. It's happening all this month, every Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that, Melvin. We're going to talk about that because yes, I did hear it, and I saw the last 10 seconds. So we're going to talk about that. But no, Uppsala. It started as an idea in Kilgore. Um, Then after a situation, I'm not sure what happened, but they decided to branch out and make their own in Gladewater. And there's lots of room. They've got, plenty of land, but they are building a giant encampment, and it is wonderful. I took my daughter, like I said, and the improvements I saw made it the whole trip worth it. It's only 20-30 minutes away from me, but um, you know, again, worth it. Tickets were like 20 some odd dollars each. She was a child, but still rather pricey for the tickets, but worth it. Spent spent several hours there. Took let her spend her money. She had her own savings, so she cashed in her piggy bank and was able to get some stuff. She got a little 3D printed dragon, 3D um, Lilo and Stitch, not Lilo, but Angel. Angel's the pink one. That's what it is. But she got to dig for buried treasure. They have this section that was kind of bricked off, but they had put a bunch of sand, beach sand, playground sand, but they threw rocks and gemstones and kids could dig. A lot of them were just sitting right on top, but you could dig, dig, dig and find different gems and things. And it was, like I said, it was really fun. Um, One of the vendors there was um, a tattoo group. I'm gonna get the card. I apologize. I don't like leaving the camera. When I start, I try to be prepared, but I wasn't as prepared for this one. But Jason Tattoos. So I I've got several ideas for tattoos. I'm a very blank canvas, if you get my meanings. Don't have any tattoos, so always been wanting some. I've got some ideas, but locations are already chosen. So I didn't have anything for my left arm. Um, I've been wanting to get something for my left arm, but I don't know anything that represented me. Just happened to be looking through his books, several sections of several books of just Viking tattoos. But in one of the sections, it had the wolves slash Ulfhednar. So instantly I jumped to that, and it was, I think, the third page, and boom, I saw my tattoo. So I'll describe the tattoo because you really can't see anything on my arm right now. It's covered with the second skin, but so in the outline of the wolf, you kind of go down into the body, and you see um, a man holding an axe, very, long hair, kind of in relief of the wolf. And then, you see his axe, you see a couple of the mushrooms, you see some arrow shots, and then you see some ravens. So, like I said, you can't see anything. You can kind of see the wolf head, you know, kind of see where the warrior would be. So it's healing really well. But it it was one of those things. It felt right at a Viking, festival, getting a Viking tattoo. It was even a Viking artist, so everything felt right, and it just, it was very emotional for me. I didn't really show it. I didn't know sold it, um, but it was very good. Now, because I didn't know how I was going to tolerate the pain with this arm. That's why I went and instantly jumped on this arm. Tearing my bicep, some things have been moved around a little bit. I still have I don't want to say nerve damage, but I have nerve issues. This arm is very tender. I can lightly touch it and feel it. I've felt mosquitoes land on my skin, instantly. Like it's I can feel everything that touches this arm. So there were very few, there were a couple of times that he got into some tender meats and I could really feel it. But he laughed. He said, if you're a professional wrestler, you can take this pain, no problem. And obviously I took it, but um, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was different. I understood the pain. Like I knew exactly what it was going to feel like going into it, and it was very similar. But I'm going to say it was more the arm issue as opposed to whatever the gun or his hand or anything like that. I am ready for the other arm. I already have an artist. I already have the design. I've got everything else. It was the left arm that I didn't know about. What's going to be great about this is when I carry my shield, it will look like the shield will basically end right where he sits. So it'll almost be like he's sitting on the shield on my arm. Um, so that's going to look really good. And also, I have ways of adding to it. I already know what I'm going to do to make it even better and cooler. So when I saw the tattoo, it was very solid black, very dark outline. One subtle change was to add some stars. I was thinking maybe a nebula, maybe different colors, purple, blues. That didn't happen, but I'm fine with what got chosen. What he chose, he kind of discussed it with me. He said the North Star and I believe it's the Little Dipper that's on it, but the North Star is sacred to the Vikings as well. So that's how they helped navigate at night when they were sailing, stuff like that. So just that touch, that small, simple touch makes it go from a simple tattoo to what someone said. It's a tattoo inside of a tattoo inside of a tattoo. So, there's tattoos in relief, there's tattoos inside of it, and it's all done really well, I think. It nearly fills up my bicep. I like that. The scale was really well. Obviously he turned it to where it comes inside. So the wolf is working in, not working out, so it was proper placing. So all in all, I'm just very, very happy with my we'll call it my first real tattoo experience. I do have a stick poke in the back, and I wouldn't recommend that. So, um, boys and girls, get a real tattoo. Don't get a stick poke at 16. Now, I did watch the gentleman who was tattooing me. His wife was there, and she was actually stick poking somebody. So that was an entirely different situation that I'm talking about. So that was a professional way of a stick poke. So that is okay. Not a 16-year-old doing it. So I would not recommend. Yeah. So one of the fun things about the Renaissance Festival is the debauchery. So I'm used to going to Renaissance festivals where women are wearing corsets and everything's very, the girls are always sitting very right up top. So there was some of that here, but this one was different because they advertise a Loki's late night. So that's 21 and up, no children. Um, there was no phones allowed, no photography, no no They said, "Be in the moment." So, yeah, Loki's late night, was fun. Um, I can kinda go into all the details because, nobody knows them, but, there was a wet t-shirt contest for the ladies. There was a, hairy chest competition for the gentlemen, and then at the end, there was a sleep near challenge, and we'll go into that. I actually participated in the, uh, hairy chest competition. I got an award, it's on the wall. So anybody that's seen me wrestle knows I don't have a whole lot of hair except for on my beard. Like that's it, you know. But I got C minus for effort. So I did get a I did get an award, C minus for effort. Um hey, happy Sunday, Miss Linda. Hey everybody on TikTok. Melvin, the weather's great. It did just snap cold, so it got real cold now. And no, I've never met Cena. I've only met Sarmo before he died, and Ted DiBiase, Hornswoggle. Um, I met gentleman Chris Adams, and I know a couple other wrestlers, but I can't really think of them right off the top of my head. So nobody Cena level, but certainly I've talked to people in the business. Yes, sir. But yeah, so I didn't when I originally stood up to compete in the hairy chest competition. Um, I was the only man in this competition. Afterwards, after a minute or so of convincing, some monsters showed up, and I knew I was sunk. But um, couldn't back out. Then I had to still compete. But luckily, Loki gave me a C minus for effort. A couple, basically, those were the the honorable mentions or the participation awards, for being a good sport. So I got that. Though I'll say the winner of the hairy chest competition had to lift his beard to show his chest hair, and it looked like he had a second beard for chest. Like it was, there was a lot of hair, a lot of testosterone in this group. I certainly didn't have near as much hair as some of these gentlemen. And what's funny is one of the guys afterwards, I was talking to him later, was talking about he should have competed because he would have won, and it looked like he had a full sweater on without his shirt. So absolutely, he would have won. Looked like a bear with with boots on, you know. So there was a lot of mead, a lot of drinking. I didn't drink any. I didn't bring the cash for that. Spent my money on my tattoo. Um, you know, that's my souvenir. My daughter got some stuff, but I got a long lasting tattoo. But yeah, what I plan to do with the warrior inside, I'm gonna have space, a nebula, a galaxy theme. There is where I'm gonna get the blues and the purples and the whites and all that. There's plenty of room inside the body of the warrior and even in the axe to continue the colors. And I think that will put everything all together because it will give the psychedelic effect of the amanita mushrooms that are in there. It'll make sense for night. The wolf is kind of howling towards the night. Um, you know, I've already got the dipper and the moon and the North Star on there, so everything just is gonna add to it. I didn't really start off thinking it was gonna be a sleeve, but here we are. We're about to sleeve it up. Melvin's watching on both the Facebook and TikTok. What's up, guy? This weather snap is making my skin dry really quickly. So I'm definitely gonna have to, keep this lotion, keep it clean and everything. This heater sitting right next to me is blowing warm air, so that's just constantly drying me out while I'm on the computer. Haven't been on the computer all day, but um, you know, you know, at least here for a couple hours while I do my setting up my podcast and getting to it and everything. But um, the other thing, I went to breakfast with my parents. It's my sister's birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to my sister. She's 43, maybe 44. Bad at math, can't count past three. It's one, two, kick out. So, can't really say much. But yeah. Now we might as well get into the meat and potatoes of of what people want to talk about. I know everybody wanted to talk about Uppsala and here in the Viking Yule Festival, but um, man, I have been having so many people message me about Cena, um, how I feel about his last match, how I feel it should have gone, all this stuff. All I can say is I called it. I called it. I've got it in writing on Thursday that I called it. And the guy was like, nah, he can't do that. He can't do that. Look what happened. Look what happened. Now everybody's mad. You know, Cena was one of the best at putting over the next crop. Cena was the best at putting over who needed to be pushed. Cena knows this. There's nothing else Cena can do. There was nothing Gunther could have given Cena. I'm sure they had another couple of minutes. I'm sure they had, another back and forth. Gunther might have been scheduled to win, but Cena tapped. Called it. Called it all day. Called it all day. So everybody's mad because you don't lose your retirement match. I believe Flair lost his retirement match, at least one of them before he tried to do another one. The Dudley boys lost to the Hardy boys. I mean, to me, I don't know, depending on the star, depending on his opponent. It's easy to say it's lazy writing either way because the story is yeah, either Cena wins and he, retires undefeated, which is what everybody wants, or Cena taps out or puts Gunther over in some way, which is what nobody wants, but other people want it. Those stories are already it's like I said, easy writing. So I wonder if there's not something more. I know there's been speculation of him, having a run in or something else. I don't know. The smile to me kind of made me think that um, this is my moment to soak it in and to pass the torch. That's that's what we do as wrestlers. We find our moment to get a comeback. We find our moment to have a falsy, you know, whatever it is. This is our moment to hook the audience. And definitely Cena had us hooked, had all the hooks in us, and then He gave up against, you know, against his words, never give up. He gave up. He was able to go out on his terms, regardless of what anybody wanted. He went out his way. And that is all a wrestler wants, to go out on his boots, under his terms, because that means he's survived. He's done what he's needed to do. He's still there, you know. Jax, what's up? What's up, brother? Doing good. You know, so that's what a wrestler is going to do. He's going to wait for his moment and put over his partner, and then hit gorilla. You know, he's going to fade off into the gorilla position, sunset, and take off his gear. You know, that's how we pass the torch. Like I said, yes, Jax, it is chilly. Excuse me. You know, so I get it. I get it. I understand. I understand why he tapped. I understand the moment he took. I also understand the hatred for Triple H. You know, I don't think I definitely think there's more to the story. Watch Monday Night Raw on TV. Yeah, he's definitely retiring, Melvin. Um, you know, he said it himself. So I really think this was his way of ending. This was his ending. He passed the torch to Gunther, and that even happens in the independents, you know, the indie wrestling. I remember it happened on one of my first matches that I was attending, the League of Lions in Marshall. One of the championship matches got passed by you know, one of the champion hit a finisher on the guy, and you know, told him to kick out. The guy kicked out, didn't understand it, then was told to hit him with his finisher, and he went to pin the champion, and the champion said, you know, right before the three count, congratulations, you know, and it gets that shock factor for the winner that, oh, this wasn't, you know, I didn't know anything about this. This wasn't scheduled. This wasn't, you know, scripted. Um, this also happened a couple months ago when the 903 boys brought home the tag team titles for the League of Lions. They defeated the Backwoods Monsters, um, and they kind of did the same thing. It's a 14-year-old kid as one of the wrestlers, and he was pinning one of the wrestlers. And when he jumped up, everybody acted like he had done something wrong, and you know, told him to get backstage and they'd talk about it. And when he got backstage, everybody was there to congratulate him. You know, he was so afraid of messing up. And then when we got back, you know, it was no, 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 you did perfect. This is what we do. Congratulations. You know, you're one of us now. So it happens. The big upset, that was the biggest upset I can think of, you know, happening. So, Kevin, my night's going well. Hope yours is going well. You know, we were talking about Uppsala, talking about my tattoo, talking about Cena. You know, just you know, obviously people wanted Cena to win. I mean, that's obvious, like I said, but things change. Melvin says he remembers when John Cena and The Rock back in 2013. Um, see, I've been out of wrestling for so long. Um, honestly, not having a TV is good, but it also comes with a lot of drawbacks. Not current on a lot of information, not up to date on a lot of pop culture, a lot of the things that get changed. I'm some of the last to know. I up until recently, I wasn't even using the Facebook app. I would still log into the. I would go to Google and then hit Facebook. Do it the long way, I guess. Uh, I I don't understand it. So sometimes when technology changes, I just don't accept it. Kevin, yes, selfless act is what I see. Um, I keep saying it. He passed the torch. As a wrestler, this is what we do. Uh, You know, Jax. I will video the match of Fate in the mall and send it to you. Yes, sir. Send me the video. Um, SWF was having a show. They should be having another show here in a couple weeks. Um, I know I'm having a match on Saturday, this coming up Saturday on the 20th. I'll be facing Dax Xander, defending my digital media championship. So last month he attacked me from behind, hit me with the belt. So I'm definitely gunning for him this month. Yeah. So a lot of big stuff happening. Still working on the Sons of Plunder um, merch website. I'm not sure what we're doing. We'll probably do an Etsy. I don't really know. Um, but that way we can get our merch available to people with shipping. Okay, so the match at the mall is December 20th, so Saturday as well. Excuse me. So this Saturday is the match for SWF. Um, yes, your gift was right there. Hannah, one of my fans that I made in Beaumont. I met her down in Beaumont. Yeah, made me this. I know we talked about it as soon as I got it. He's got his own little throne, and yeah, he's got his own little place to hang out. Jack says the show in the mall is at 4, so I'm not sure what mall, but I'm probably the Beaumont Mall in Beaumont, Texas. I wish I had more information. I wish I was a little closer. I'd know a little better. Um, but I'm 3.5 hours north of them. But I get down with them as far as as often as I can, as quickly as I can. Um, just another group of guys that love wrestling, that want to put on a banger show, and strive to put on the best they can. Um, Another group I'm going to talk about again is Exist to Inspire Wrestling. Those boys are we're gonna blow up. We're gonna blow up pretty soon with this, invading everything. So got some information. So the mall, Parkdale Mall, near Second and Charles. Yeah. So all the information. Thank you guys for being able to help out with that, because I didn't have any information. um, and that's what sucks about living in a different city, different town. Um, I'm not as knowledgeable as I'd like to be, as I pretend to be for sure. So we've got I know that there's 4, 5 different groups that, I'm running with, all of them top-notch companies, all of them very good at what they do. Each one has solid gimmicks, solid locker rooms. The roster is elite. Definitely some groups to watch out for. SSW, SWF, E2IW, LOL. I'll even throw out EBW, Elite Breakout Wrestling. You know, wrestled them in San Antonio when I did my Texas tour for the weekend in September. You know, um, there's some things blowing up in South Texas and all of Texas that is worthy of putting a spotlight on. And if you're a fan of professional wrestling, indie wrestling is it. I mean, every big name started in the indies. I say we put on a better show because we do want it more. We're certainly not getting paid as much. We're putting our health on the line to make sure you guys get your money's worth. Uh, evening, Miss Shamarie. Um, so, we there's some things we struggle with, absolutely, like wrestling in your underwear outside in 30 degrees is very difficult. But I know we still gave them, a show. Um, Injuries, difficult to work with as well. But it's all an effort to take you on a journey, to tell a story, and to, you know, just I mean, it's a form of entertainment, but you're I don't want to make it sound bad, but you're pacified for the 7 to 10 minutes, the 30 minutes, the hour long, however the match is. You are engulfed just like a movie, just like the video game, just like a song, you know, for a brief amount of time. I've got your attention, and it's just I'm struggling to find the right words. Um, it's our way of being the storyteller, being the movie star, the rock star, whatever you want to call it. Uh, that's just our way of being the entertainer for 7 to 10 minutes. I stick with 7 to 10 minutes because that's about how long my matches last, whether it's by accidental injury or by 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 scheduling it, the way we write it. Um, but that's how long I choose to keep my matches. I say that because people want to move around. They After an hour they get sit in their bases and they want to move, they want to stretch. So a good 7 to 10 minutes, and time to rinse your palate with something else. So, we can get another story going. That's another reason why I try not to go too long with podcasts and stuff like that. It's attention span. I'm not Not saying anybody's got a bad attention span. I'm saying a lot of people have a short attention span. And that's why the YouTube shorts and the reels and the stuff like that gets a lot of traction. It's a dopamine hit and you want more. People people become addicted to the pleasure hits, and that's why the doom scrolling, the pleasure scrolling, whatever you want to call it, that's what happens, and we get into a vicious loop. So here's us, entertaining you, and we're hoping, obviously that you forget about your troubles, that you're entertained, that you get your money's worth. At the end of my day, at the end of my match, that is all I'm worried about is, did I do the best I could in that 7 to 10 minutes? Did I give you everything? Did I leave it out in the ring? Did I literally spill enough of my blood? Did I sweat enough? Could I have done anything else different to make sure the show goes? Um, that's one reason why I hate bleeding. I try to stop the bleeding as quick as I can. Um, so uh, I'm trying not to leave my mark on a building like that. So um, I hate bleeding, and I've done it a lot. So I'm that's really when I get an issue and start doubting myself, because instantly I get taken out of the match because of an injury, and I'm doing it to myself because I don't want to break character. I don't want to break gimmick. I don't want to break the show. I don't want to shatter the illusion that anybody might have. So, Hannah, thanks for showing up. Always. Um, so I can kind of explain this. Yes, but no. A different role. I'm always going to be Warhammer, but um, yes, going from face to heel and heel to face and stuff like that, that happens all the time. It can happen you can walk out a heel, and when the ref is patting you down, he tells you work face. It can happen that quick, and then the next match you have at the same location, a week or so later, your heel, so yeah, it goes that quick. Now, as for jobber, if you get booked out, a lot of times you do become a jobber for the new company. They don't know who you are. They don't know how you work. They don't know what you can do. So they're going to put you against either one of their best guys, one of their worst guys, or one of their most solid guys. Those three people. I kind of stand by. I'm the solid guy at LOL. I'm the benchmark. I'm the well, if you can handle Warhammer, you can you can do this. Uh I take people that are coming back from injuries, and I'm able to, work them comfortably, work them safely. Uh, I've been outweighed 60 pounds at the lightest, several hundred pounds at the heaviest. I'm able to work with people half my size, twice my size. So I'm, you know, a solid, I'll call myself a solid B wrestler, mid card for sure. Um, not trying to sugarcoat any of that, but um, could move up with a good push or could fall down with the wrong situation. So, uh, I actually do have a tribute that I want to do for Cena. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna give it away, but when I there will be a John Cena tribute, and I think it will be very fitting. The guy I'm wrestling is more like a Logan Paul, and I think this is gonna go over real well. I think it'll be hilarious. Um, Definitely gonna be a violent match. Sorry. Like I said, all this dry air, everything's coming. So the chilly weather, uh, having to turn on heaters, just I don't do well in the cold. So I was getting tattooed, didn't have my shirt on. It's getting kind of chilly, and everybody's asking me if I was chilly. And well, you're a Viking, you should be used to this. And, no, I'm a tropical Viking. They just laugh. Um, in SWF, who would be the top guys? Who are the best? Okay, so in SWF, I gotta ask the roster. Um, is the ring bully in there? Because he'd be the best. Um, who do I say is the best? Honestly, I've not been able to watch too many matches from the SWF roster. I've only seen the guys I've worked, and that's mainly Grizzly. You know, Robert Gray, I've worked him a couple times, but didn't get to see many of his matches, so it was kind of you see him firsthand. So I can't really honestly answer that question. I do apologize, but it's hard to beat Ring Bully. Rika, another solid one. Anybody in the family affiliate. Um, the sports, we'll go with all of them. Solid gimmicks. Not trying to put anybody down, but trying to think of the actual locker room and who all is associated with them. Victor Morbius, solid worker. Um, just there's several people, but I'm gonna say if Ring Bully is anywhere in that list, he becomes top. So uh, I as much as I'd like to say I'm a top guy, but uh, I'm gonna continue to say I'm middle of the locker room. I did say the sports. I did say the sports, but wasn't gonna call them out. Yes, we did talk about my tattoo, the new ink. Um, that was a little bit earlier. And like I said, it's gonna sit perfect on my shield when I hold it, and I'm gonna put a space nebula galaxy inside the warrior. I'll even maybe even take the whole shoulder with it. So I am excited to expose it. I'm not going to do it. Was told to keep the skin on for 5 days. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep this as good as we can for 5 days. And, if I have to, I will remove it. I already know the cleaning procedures and everything. So I'm just doing what the gentleman told me. He said 5 days. So we're going to attempt that. Um, Worst case scenario, we just wrap it with saran wrap and we keep rocking. But it's it's healing. I can feel it. You know, your body knows. I've always been a good healer. Um, healed well after my surgery, after all my accidents. You can't slow me down, or you can slow me down. You just can't stop me. So we'll just call it that. But yeah. Melvin, yes, one day we will have a wrestling match, whether it's arm wrestling or we actually get in the ring. We'll square up. Also had a gentleman on here. It was Trinity. He's on TikTok, Trinity Morris. Um, I'm in the works of trying to get to Atlanta, Georgia, and wrestle out in Atlanta. So he's a gentleman I plan on squaring up with. We are both in a TikTok wrestling promo league, and that's where I met him. But it's interesting where wrestling can take you. And I've already had plans to go to Atlanta, Georgia, but now knowing he's there and able to talk to him and kind of see what he's about, I think we could have a great match. See, the thing about that is the war horns are even more expensive than the drinking horns. The war horns are usually a lot bigger to get a good sound. Several of them at the Viking Festival, all over $100. Just you know, my drinking horn, I believe, was 125 plus shipping, but it it is in the plan. People have said, I should bring out a war horn. That should be every time I come out, I should blow it. Um, that is in the works, but I already carry so much stuff: my hammer, my shield, if I've got a belt, a cloak, a mask, you know. Um, so my hands are already full. I'd have to figure out some way of, having a loop and it stay on me. That way I can put it down. That's just what I think of when I wrestle. What am I carrying out? What do I got to walk back with? You know, what am I going to forget? I always forget something. Iron Belly always leaves his necklace. We got to tell the ref, hey, next match is starting. You got to go get a necklace. Something, you know. Some of our equipment is left out there all the time, you know. So I am excited to go back to Uppsala in Gladewater. Um, I've been, looking forward to it since last year. Like I said, I took my daughter, but each time bigger and better. It's only done in Christmas. Obviously, the Yule Festival, Santa Claus was there, and other things. But the next time I get to do a Renaissance Festival will be in Kilgore in April, and that's the Avalon Fair. They are great. They had a great start, but it's almost like they stalled and didn't get a resurgence back into it. Like, oh, we did enough. But Yule and Uppsala, their whole goal is bigger than next year, and that's essentially what wrestling is. Bigger than next show, bigger than next year. Always push, trying to be bigger and better. So I hope I'm doing better for you guys. I hope I'm able to, entertain you. Um, I know wrestling is better when it's done live and you're able to see it, but following my link tree, you're able to uh, go to my podcast. I'm trying to link all of it together. The League of Lions is where most of my wrestling matches are. They're on Rumble and YouTube under the same names: League of Lion Wrestling or Pro Wrestling, Professional Wrestling, something like that. But easy to find once you type in League of Lions. Um, Sadistic Wrestling Federation. I know sadistic is spelled differently, but if you type in SWF, you're able to pull them up. Southern Star Wrestling, you're able to pull them up. Elite Breakout Wrestling, you're able to pull them up. So all these guys you should be looking up if you're a fan of wrestling, watching them, because these guys may be the next John Cena. Um, I know I've talked at lengths with people. I have no I have no reservations about knowing that I'm not going to WWE. I'm not I'm too old, I'm too broken, and they don't need that. They've already got the young crop coming up next. They don't need me. So I'm good being a small town hero. And that's what I told a couple people who were um, blown away that WWE was not in my dreams. AEW or whatever. Never wanted to wrestle for these big times. I'm fine being where I'm at. So I can get the same satisfaction by having a great match in front of 20 people as they do with 20,000 people, because it's the same job, it's the same sport, it's the same thing. I do it a different way, but that's what makes me different. I do it a different way than this guy, than that guy, than that guy, and that's why everybody's got fans. Why John Cena, Samoa Joe, Undertaker, Kane, all these people. Yes, for the love of the sport. That's exactly why I do it. Exactly why we do it. And like I was telling, the tattoo artist, when I wrestle the midgets and the dwarfs, um, that is pure fun, pure love of the show, just pure love of entertaining, and not afraid of being laughed at, not afraid of looking stupid or looking small, because anytime I can turn the coin and make you see a different perspective, that's where I get my kicks. That's where I get yep, see. Okay. So apparently I can't say certain words on TikTok because it's hate speech, but it's not. Nothing I do is hateful. It's all out of love. So um all right. Well, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. We're gonna end this thing. TikTok's over. And again, I'm gonna thank everybody for tuning in. We will talk again next week. We will talk about my match at no, let's get off of that. We'll talk about my match on the 20th, and we'll see how that goes. So again, thank you for everybody. Tune in next week, and be sure to hammer that like button, share this with your friends, and tune in next week. Good night, everybody.